My ex-husband cheated on me with my sister. 6 years later, he wrote me a letter.
I'm 33 now. At 18, I met my ex-husband, Dan, who's now 40. We met at a restaurant where I was celebrating my birthday. He was charming, mature, and made me feel special. Coming from a dysfunctional family, this was something I hadn't experienced before. My dad passed away when my sister Abby, now 25, was born, and my mom showered Abby with attention, leaving me feeling neglected. Dan filled that void. He made me feel whole. After 4 years of dating, we got married. I wanted to start a family right away, but Dan insisted I finish my master's degree and build a career first. He was everything I could ask for in a partner. Or so I thought. 5 years into our marriage, I discovered Dan was cheating on me, with Abby. He lied about being out of town, but I found out he was staying in a local hotel with her. Their affair had been going on for 6 months. I was devastated. Abby and I were close growing up, and her betrayal cut deep. Dan's excuse? He didn't love me anymore and felt I wasn't the woman he married. When I discovered I was pregnant, I was torn apart. The stress led to a miscarriage. Dan didn't even visit me in the hospital. He was on vacation with Abby. My mother sided with Abby, asking me to accept the situation and move on. I lost my baby, my husband, my family, and any will to live. My best friend Tina stepped in and convinced me to move to another state with her. By then, I was divorced. I left behind the pain of seeing Dan and Abby together in our small town. Starting over wasn't easy, but I met kind people who helped me rebuild my life. Still, the wounds lingered, and trust didn't come easily. A year later, I met Tony, my current husband. At first, I was guarded, but Tony proved himself trustworthy. He brought joy back into my life. His loving family made me feel like I belonged, and for the first time in years, I felt truly happy. I thought I'd left my past behind, until 6 years later, Dan wrote me a letter. A year ago, I married my husband, and now I'm pregnant with our first child. Yesterday, I received a letter from my ex-husband, Dan, which brought back all the painful memories. Let me summarize what he wrote in his letter. Dan said he misses me. He's been trying to find me but couldn't. He confessed he's miserable with my sister, Abby. He described her as foolish and neglectful, unlike me. I used to bake cakes for his birthdays and organize celebrations, but Abby didn't even bother getting him a cake, just sent him a text saying, "Happy birthday." Dan wrote that Abby is rude, disrespectful, and always out drinking with friends. He also revealed that she's cheated on him 5 times, with the most recent affair being with his cousin. Apparently, even my mom doesn't try to stop her. He said he's planning to file for divorce soon. But what hurt to read, or perhaps made me laugh, was that he says he misses me the most. He wants us to give our relationship another chance and go back to being a family like before. Since I don't use social media apart from a private Instagram account, Dan probably doesn't know I'm married and expecting a baby. I'm torn between feeling pity for him or laughing at the irony. Turns out the grass wasn't greener on the other side after all.
What do you think? Should the heroine respond to her ex-husband in a kind and understanding way, or should she simply tell him to get lost? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you would handle such a situation. Would you offer him closure or let him live with the consequences of his choices? First update.
I decided to send him a letter and put an end to this. It goes like this. Dan, I'm sorry to hear that you're suffering, but I will never be with you. Yes, I used to be the girl who would have taken you back without hesitation, but that girl is gone. She died the day I miscarried while you were somewhere with my sister. I called you, but you never picked up. I am now married to a wonderful man who loves and values me, and I'm pregnant with our first child. I'm starting a new chapter in my life with someone I deeply love and care for, so please never contact me again. You made your choice. You picked my barely of age sister over me. I don't care if she cheats on you or disrespects you. Someone like you doesn't deserve loyalty or respect. I've left my old life behind in my old town. You should move on and reflect on your own life. You're just a deeply insecure person afraid of getting old, and thought having a younger girl by your side would make your life better. Goodbye.
Second update.
He replied within an hour of me sending the letter. He wrote that he was foolish enough to believe I would still be waiting for him. He said he would always wait for me because, no matter what, I will always be his baby girl. It made my skin crawl. He used to call me that, but now it fills me with disgust. I also received letters from my mom and sister. Mom congratulated me and was thrilled about becoming a grandmother. My sister said the same, and added that she would be the cool aunt. I can't believe they said this. They seem to have forgotten how they treated me when I needed them most, and worse, how they betrayed me. I cried for a long time after reading those messages. It seems like both my sister and I were manipulated by this man. I feel so foolish. I know I shouldn't be angry at my sister, but she was old enough to know it's wrong to have an affair with a married man, especially her sister's husband. I blocked them all. I'm now 5 months pregnant and don't need the extra stress. God bless my husband. He comforted me as I cried and took me out for ice cream. I hope I can get through this.
Third update.
I've calmed down. The letter from my ex hit me like a bolt from the blue, bringing back all the terrible things he did. After he replied, I received 2 more letters from my mom and sister a few hours later. They sent them to my old email address, which I barely use. I don't know how they found out about my pregnancy. I've been keeping a low profile. I haven't posted any baby bump photos on social media or made any announcements. I only have Instagram to keep up with friends. This scared me, and I immediately started crying. Thankfully, my husband Tony was there. He hugged me, sat me down on the couch, and calmed me down. He knows everything about me. I've hidden nothing from him. I was a bit scared that my mom and sister might try to find me, but Tony reassured me that we're hundreds of miles away from them on the other side of the country. 2 scoops of ice cream helped me relax a little. I told my husband about my fears that my mom and sister might demand to see the baby. He said he'd talk to his uncle, who's a police officer, to stay prepared. He's also planning to consult a lawyer. He assured me that my ex would never be able to hurt me again. Tony even joked that we'd move to another country if needed. One of the commenters suggested that I should inform the daycare about my mom and sister in case they try to take my child. However, we don't plan to enroll her in daycare. Even though I'm currently working, I've decided to quit my job to focus on taking care of my baby and recovering after childbirth. I have a decent amount of savings in my personal account, and this decision is entirely my own. I'll return to work when our little princess grows up a bit. My mother-in-law and father-in-law are wonderful people. They live nearby, are incredibly kind, and have already offered to help with the baby. And don't worry, apart from my in-laws, I have great support. Tina and my husband have practically adopted me. They're incredibly kind and have always been there for me. I don't know what the future holds, but for now I'm surrounded by good people, something I never had during my childhood. So, this is where I say goodbye. I'll enjoy being spoiled by my husband while my former sister and mother remain blocked.
Well, let's take a look at some of the comments on this story. I don't understand how she didn't realize her mom and sister found out about the pregnancy through her ex. That's the obvious answer. Honestly, I'm shocked her ex tried to reconcile instead of hitting up a local school to find another 18-year-old to charm. What a creep. Now that he's 40, he probably can't pull off the same act anymore. A naive 18-year-old might fall for the lines of a guy in his early 30s telling her how special and mature she is, especially if he's attractive. But at 40, it's a lot harder to pretend you're still cool. Most teenagers will see him as an awkward dad-type figure. Totally agree. When I was 18 and working at a grocery store, people aged 22, 28 felt like older peers, but anyone over 35 seemed ancient. So yeah, the older you get, the harder it is to prey on high schoolers. It seems like her ex sees the young women he pursues not as real people, but as props for his ego. He discarded the author when she was going through serious health issues, but when his new toy didn't provide the same attention and fun, he decided he wanted the old one back without considering where she's at in her life now or how far she's come since their toxic marriage. I misread his letter at first and thought he was the one who cheated on Abby 5 times, including with his cousin. Glad incest didn't get added to the drama. In the end, Dan got what he deserved. and the author, in her own way, did too. I hope she finds happiness with her husband, baby, and chosen family. What do you think about this story? Was the author right to respond to her ex-husband this way? Or should she have forgiven and forgotten the past? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a jerk do you think her ex-husband is? Let us know in the comments. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Check out our previous video, we've got plenty more stories like this. See you next time.